birds, wouldn't it? Alright, so this building that you're in
it's been a year.
Now Remand is just
well,
where they were put
I decided
before they went to their court case. So
create my own pocket dimension to live in.
But it was getting overcrowded in here. At one point they had 3 people per cell. I never liked this building. There is a more haunted building, which is the new building, but I never liked it because when
Oh, and I play reality, so everyone in my family and my friends and different chicks what I fuck had the power to create reality, go over, you know, dimensions. Go visit me here in this pocket dimension. So, yeah.
My guide can look after this. So the next thing I know, there's this torchlight bouncing towards me. I'm standing there going, hello, something's happened. And Ash came running up to me going, you better get back down to Remand because Dee, who was one of our guests, has been hurled out of the cell. And she smashed her head on the cement here.
Hey, Mum. Oh, and I forgot.
Uncomfortable in there.
Mum and Dad, my sister.
She said she felt something hit her right in the side there. She went out backwards. She didn't even have time to grab the door frame. And she did take the full brunt with the back of her head on the cement here.
That takes a lot of force, a lot of energy.
Yeah. And it's funny you should say that because here's the other observation. When that happened, it was almost like it expelled all this energy and then it was so quiet here.
If this cell block has been known to have physical attacks, we'll definitely need to focus our attention here later. In a place like the Adelaide jail, anger would become almost second nature, as these prisoners were trapped in these cages. The outside world was so close, they could almost feel it from behind the walls.
And it's really weird because you're walking down this really old alleyway, you've got buildings either side of you, and a place that dates back to 1841. You've got the emergency helicopter coming over. It's strange. And it must be very frustrating, especially in the latter years for people that are in here, because you can hear everything going off around you. You know, what it must have been like being sitting in a cell and seeing and hearing the airplanes go overhead. That must have been torture for them. So where we are is the hanging tower. So I'm standing under the gallows here and standing on the trapdoor. So this is the condemned prisoner cell here, and this one here is where the executioner was. Now, just before 6 o'clock, they would be brought into this room here. As you can see, it's not a most appealing room. That's where they would sit until just before 8 o'clock. Just before 8 o'clock, this door would open, and out would come the prisoner. Now, this will be the last thing that he sees, is this rope sitting here waiting for him. He would be stood facing in this direction. He would have the hood put over his head, the rope put around his neck, and then they would wait. And they would be waiting to see if there was a reprieve. If there wasn't a reprieve, then the executioner would be in this room here. This is where the lever is. There's a little window on here. So the signal would be given through that window. The executioner would get that lever. The executioner would pull it.
Down
they would go.
Thank you. You're welcome, Mama.
You can imagine the emotions of people knowing that their lives were going to end in so many hours. It must have been absolute torture for them to actually be in the condemned man's cell, or to be in the cell before they get taken to wherever they're going to be executed. And the emotions must be unbelievable.
Have you ever had any paranormal experiences in here? Because that could really be a recipe for trapped energy.
My very first ever experience here was actually on a tour before we started investigating. We had the tour in here. I was on the tour. Suddenly it felt like there was pressure coming through my back.
Tell them what do you do for your work.
I could feel it even into my stomach. It was like this pressure pushing through into the organs.
I work for the Ministry of Magic.
I don't know, I felt really weird. So she grabbed me and She dragged me out there.
And your dad?
Got to the end of the ramp and then it all
my dad.
disappeared.
Have you ever heard of or had any experiences yourself with paranormal activity related to some of the people that were
the same Ministry of Magic?
No, I haven't. No.
What was that?
Is that you guys down there?
In the world of Albion, you can be whoever you want, depending on the situation. By wearing...
Fuck off.
Is that you guys down there?
He's a blonde, smell, kick couple nugs, mum.
That sounded weird. I don't know what it was.
He's a wireless, but thanks. You're awesome.
Have you ever heard of or had any
now.
experiences yourself with paranormal activity related to some of the people that were executed?
Personally, no. I haven't. No. Personally, no. I haven't. No.
What was that?
Alright, so where we are now, this is a new building. So, now the new building seems to make it all sound modern and whatnot, but it's actually built in 1879. So, back then it was the last main building to be built on site. It got the nickname New Building back then, and that's stuck. Everybody refers to it as a new building today. So, this is the building that brought us to the jail, because this is the one the stories were coming out of. So people, even during the day, were reporting having seen a guard in here, usually up on the second gantry or the top gantry there. So hearing the footsteps and hearing the door, sometimes you go around, it's almost as though somebody is walking around the cells, and then, you can hear the eyepiece that we moved to one side. That's a distinct sound. It's almost like there was a prison guard in here just doing his daily job. But we call him Sir. This is supposed to be a guard, and we call him Sir because we were doing an audio experiment in here with the ghost box one night, and we very politely said one night, "What do you like to be called, Sir?" What you hear is this staticky stuff on the radio before you hear this very clear male voice just come back on us and just go, "Sir." So we came in here. I stand where I always stand here on the third step. My backup for the night had finished. He was sitting on the same step, but towards the railings there. As I started to talk about Sir, we started to hear footsteps coming from the top gantry from where we'd just come from around the corner there. They came to the top of the stairs behind me. You couldn't see anything, there's no figure. Came to the top of the stairs behind me there, and I'm standing there going, yes, because their jaws dropped. They were that definite. What I didn't expect is what happened next. Because they started to come down the stairs towards us. It walked between me and my guide, and then we listened to it walking off down the hallway here and out the door at the end. You could not have choreographed that any better than what happened that night.
This officer seems to be the most dominant energy within the new building, despite the fact that there is no documentation of any guards dying inside its walls. But there has been death in this building. On the second level sits the third out of 4 jailers of the Adelaide jail, and it was the most utilized in the history of the prison.
He loved his job that much, he would rather walk.
21 executions were performed inside this building, and it just so happens we're here on the anniversary of one of those hangings.
Marpoo killed his friend Tommy R. Fluke because he didn't like the way that he was cussing and swearing at him, so he shot him in the head. Supposedly he didn't rob him, though. He did commit to killing him, but not to robbing him. And he actually put his body into a cesspit behind one of the buildings on Hindley Street. He was actually executed here at the Adelaide jail on the 10th of November, 1883. He lost his life. So you should never shoot people in the head because they cuss and swear at you.
Worse to live by. But with that, I think we're going to go ahead and get started with the investigation. The storm has just rolled through. That energy is really starting to ramp up, and who knows what could happen while we're here tonight at the old Adelaide jail. So are you ready to go lights out, Dave? Switch over to night vision and see what we can pick up on?
Let's go do it. Let's get ready. Let's do this one.
All right, so we're getting ready to do abandonment. We're going to leave The Adelaide jail completely empty with 4 areas covered by cameras. Right now we are in A block, also known as the new building. This is the set of stairs that Allison said that she heard what sounded like very heavy and distinct boot steps walking up and down. And we have a paranormal tripwire that is actually laying up the stairs here to try and capture any sort of EMF changes or fluctuations of things that may be moving up and down the stairs. Our next camera we have is in the hanging tower. There were 4 known executions in that specific area. There were also 21 executions here in this building, in the new building. But we have the hanging tower covered as well. We have the paranormal music box in there. We have the ghost tube running to see if it says anything relevant. But also, we have a piece of equipment that we are borrowing. Since we are in Adelaide, we are borrowing a piece of equipment from Amy's crypt. Amy let us borrow her paranormal tripwire. Also, there's an EMF lantern that she is letting us use that we have actually hanging from the hook where the noose would be strung through during those executions. So we'll see if there's any interaction with that, to see if that picks up on any fluctuations in electromagnetic energy, to see if there's anything paranormal that might occur in relation to those hangings. Our third camera we have set up right outside of Elizabeth's cell. Elizabeth was the only woman that was actually executed at the old Adelaide jail. So
now I don't fucking know.
Did you see that? Tripwire went, I just think.
I don't get you. Thank you. Yo.
Huh. I thought the tripwire just went. Do you know Elizabeth? But outside of Elizabeth's cell, we have the bell meter. We have a cat ball because Allison said a cat ball flew off of that. Did you see that? We also have the ovilus on the ledge to see if it picks up on any words that are spoken by Elizabeth herself, so we'll see if that says anything. The fourth and final camera we have set up in the remand building. It's a lot of residual energy in there because that's where inmates awaiting trial were actually housed. Imagine the panic, the anxiety, the fear they may have had awaiting their sentence. Are you ready, Dave, to leave these cameras set up and see what they pick up?
Yes, I am.
Let's do it.
I think this calls for our very first Australian we're leaving.
I think so. I think we need to do an Adelaide, Australia, we're leaving. Wow, tripwire just went.
Yeah, we're leaving. Just give us a second.
Didn't take long for the EMF lantern to start detecting strange spikes. But that's not the weirdest part. After this flurry of EMF, the lantern fell silent for 4 minutes before it spiked again.
Huh.
And that would be the last time it would trigger. For the next 51 minutes, the lantern is silent. A pattern we would also notice in the new building with the EMF tripwire.
Ready, Mama? Yeah, I'm ready. Cool. Pause it. Let's head to my room. Here we are, my room. Not my room. That's my sister's room. This is your room. My dad's room. This is my room. Ready? Yeah. Ready? Yeah. Well, I will see you in the morning. See you then.